Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. Today's video I'm going to be actually breaking down some subscriber gameplay. Don't be alarmed, it's not shipment. I typically don't cover shipment gameplay, so if you have submitted that in the past, that might be one reason it wasn't covered. This particular individual actually put together a 15-minute clip, which actually allowed me to have two different clips to choose from. So the clip we're actually going to be breaking down is on one of the DLC maps, and it's going to be in Kill Confirmed. There are going to be a lot of good tips in here that I think a lot of people just tend to make over time. I'm going to point out a bunch of different things of why I generally choose certain things in my class setups that just make a little bit more sense for improving that KD, score per minute, and overall cycling through your streaks. So if at any point you do enjoy the video or any of the tips that I've included in it, make sure you hit that like button. I usually set the goal for these videos for about 200 likes, so if we can get there, I'd really appreciate that. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, I cover all kinds of Call of Duty news, in-game updates, best class setups, subscriber breakdowns like you're seeing today, as well as other tip videos on how to improve at Call of Duty. So if you're brand new to the channel and any of that sounds interesting, make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications on. So let's go to get into the breakdown. First thing we'll talk about is the class setup. So the class setup they're actually using is armored with scope, and then they're also using the MP40 Wunderwaffe 2 variant. And this one has a reflex sight, grip, rapid fire. Secondary doesn't really matter, they don't use it. They do have a lethal and a tactical, and that lethal is that sticky nade. Once I've completed the breakdown of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the best class setup this player could use, and I'll break down why based off their play style. So on their opening rush, they run right into mid, and that's just generally not a good rule of thumb. They probably should have cleared out this left side where that teammate went, or gone a little bit around the longer route. Right here, he does get in a situation, ends up cleaning that up, grabs the tag, and then ends up running through. He pre-nades this next section you're going to see right here. As he comes up to the 931 mark, he's going to come around to this right side. Again, he's still in middle, so I definitely would recommend avoid middle. And then he throws his nade when he has a tactical available. If he would have thrown the tactical, he would have known no one was there, could have saved his lethal, maybe went around the corner through that section. Generally, you do want to stay on the outside. Teammate was pushing through that little cut, so you could have gone around to this right outside where you actually look. Come around here, ends up killing the guy. Pretty easy kill there. Ends up luckily that he ends up in a good position where he's able to clean up that one, and the teammate ended up cleaning up the other guy. In this next little clip, you're going to see that armored ends up saving his life right here. But if it didn't have armored, he probably would have been a little bit more aggressive about getting out of the way. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend having armored for that scenario because it's definitely avoidable. Right here, he has enough score to call in this recon, and he could have called it in already, but he doesn't have it because he doesn't have ordnance. And obviously, you know what I'm getting at there. This guy comes around, easily cleans him up. Probably would have been on that mini map if he had that recon in the air. Comes out of spawn, kills this guy. Pretty easy kill. In this next example, he comes around the corner. He doesn't pre-aim, and if he was pre-aiming, he could have strafed along the way. As he comes around the corner, you're going to see right here, he doesn't strafe at all. He ends up just kind of walking out into the open without even aiming down sight. So definitely wasting scope. A lot of his gunfights, he just goes straight up. He doesn't do a lot of strafing. So that's definitely something I'd recommend he get a little bit more in the habit of doing, just because generally when you strafe, you get a little bit better aim. Right here, he does have a bad death. It's just more bad timing. He's reloading, the teammate's right there, and teammate ends up cleaning the guy up. Just kind of a bad timing scenario. Nothing could have really done there. But in general, when you should be strafing, you're not strafing. You're not getting the aim assist. See, he's kind of backpedaling, so good thing there. The guy ended up drop shotting. The guy just outgunned him, and that's not really much you can do in that case. One quick tip I wanted to give about scope is pretty much you should never use it unless you're using it with a rifle, just because you want that faster strafing speed. Naturally, SMGs have a faster strafing speed in general, so they already feel like they have scope compared to the rest of the weapons in the game. And he came around this corner again without pre-aiming at all, without strafing out with the pre-aim already locked in. He's running towards mid. Teammates are to the left, teammates are to the right, one little up in mid. He's kind of just rotating around, looking and peeking. That's what a lot of people that play this map tend to do. I don't know why. All the gameplays I've broken out of this, people tend to rotate in this area, which isn't ideally the best place to run. In this specific moment, he gets the luckiest that he could have possibly got. There's footsteps you can hear as he runs through this way of a guy on the left. He doesn't even peek it, and then he literally walks past this other guy. So I definitely recommend getting at least earbuds if you don't already have a headset, or tune your audio settings so you can actually hear a little bit better. Right here, after he gets these kills, he could have called in a recon plane. But guess what? He doesn't have ordnance, and he would have known that there was another guy right around the corner running airborne requisitions. He would have seen the guy pop up on the minimap. Like I've already mentioned, this player does have pretty good accuracy, lined up the shot there. And you're going to see right here, he gets into a gunfight, doesn't strafe at all, doesn't get back to cover once he knows he's losing the gunfight. So in the middle of that gunfight, he should have been strafing right to get that tank cover. And if he didn't kill the guy immediately, at least he could reposition, take the guy a little bit, not off guard, but at least get that first shot when the guy comes around, because he was already losing that gunfight. In this next example, you're going to see that he ends up getting a recon plane. It doesn't wait necessarily for it to pass before he rounds the corner. He does end up killing the first guy, and you'll see it as he comes around the corner. and he's already low health. So he should probably wait patiently and wait if anyone's going to come out until he comes to full health. Comes around the corner. He ends up having both the guys on the mini map, but he doesn't kill both of them. Right here is an example where he probably could have had an S-mine or paid attention to the spawn, because for him spawning on this outside spawn, it tells him that there's somebody in the back of the spawn creeping around the edge. The guy ends up having mountain on, ends up killing him in the back, and he could have actually known that the guy was there because of where he spawned at. If he had an S-mine covering his back, he would have more than likely survived that scenario. So at this point, I feel that I've covered pretty much all the tips I wanted to cover. Let's kind of a little talk about this breakdown. The pros, I think this player has pretty good accuracy. For the most part, they pay good attention to the mini-map. They rotate the right way they're supposed to, but they're very inconsistent on strafing. They don't strafe in every gunfight. They're not jump shotting. They're not drop shotting. And I'm not saying that they should be using these advanced movement techniques in every gunfight, but that definitely tells me that as soon as they get into a gunfight, all they're focused on is that right analog, trying to aim, pull the trigger, and aim down sight. Whereas they're losing that left analog, they're not paying attention to X, they're not drop shot, that they're only focusing on one element that they can vastly improve by just strafing in most of their gunfight. The other part that I did notice is they ran through mid, which typically is a bad thing. In this case, it didn't really burn them and cost them a lot of death. But overall, if you do that on most maps, you are going to die, with the exception of probably Gustav Cannon. The last thing before I actually get into the class setup is that they should probably be pre-aiming around corners. They're literally just walking around the corner and easily getting themselves in a situation where they need to react, versus being aimed down sight. The enemy could be coming around. They can actually kill the person without taking any hit markers, because typically the ADS is slower than the time to kill. So what that means is you win the gunfight before it even started. So when it comes to the class setup, I'm actually going to recommend a few different things. And the first thing is to leave the weapon attachments exactly the way they are. Obviously, this person has a preference for that reflex sight, even though I would never put a reflex sight on an SMG. But in this case, that's what they're comfortable with. So I'd leave that class setup exactly the way it is, as is. So when it comes to the class setup, the first real recommendation I'm going to make is to drop scoped on all the classes and switch it out for ordnance that I'm going to be talking about. So definitely use ordnance. You'll see that you'll have an increase in your KD and score per minute. You're going to tend to live longer, all those good things, just by switching it to ordnance over scope. And then pretty much I have two other recommendations. One is to have 2 classes with armored and 2 classes with expeditionary with that exact loadout that I've talked about. And then pretty much have one of the classes with S-mines and the other class with those sticky nades. The 2 classes with the sticky nades will be there to counter those shield users, so you can just throw the sticky nade and get a good opportunity to take them out. And the 2 class setups with the S-mines are there to protect your back, especially when you're playing solo. It'll also probably lead to an extra kill, save a death, and actually give you a little bit of intel along the way, even if it doesn't kill them right off the bat. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If at any point you did enjoy it, or you liked any of the tips, remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal of 200 likes. So if you can help me get there, I'd be very appreciative of that. Obviously, I changed up the format a little bit. So down in the comment section below, let me know if you prefer this style or one of the other styles I've done in the past, so I can kind of mix it up. I wanted to try something just a little bit different, see what you guys thought. Hopefully it paid off. And if you are brand new to the channel and still watching at that 8-minute mark, you should probably hit that subscribe button with notifications on, because you're obviously enjoying the content. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.